This angle is terrible, but here we go. Okay. Oh no, that's worse. Okay. Just keep it there, Risha. Just keep it there.
We are on now.
Oh, we're on! Oh, it's Wednesday. It's 7:30. It's fucking raining. We're still in lockdown. But you know what? We are the Sauce War. Oh yeah. No. Issue 84. Oh my god.
85.
Hi, everybody.
I feel like we need to record one of those. I just have them as like a random intro. You never know what episode is gonna.
I'm here all week. It's fine. You just send me over the microphone, and we're good to go. Okay, here we go. That's a bit better. Hi everyone. Hi Sean, Keith, John. Marcus, Rob, Dan, Paul, all you people in the chat. We appreciate you. Yeah. Thank you for joining us here at the Source Wall. Another episode, another lockdown. Yeah. Well, not another one, the same one, but we're here.
Same lockdown.
Roadkill is here. Same lockdown. How's everybody doing? You okay?
Tired and hungry, Isha. Tired and hungry.
But the beard's looking thick and voluptuous and, man cave-ish.
Well, I am in my cave. I am a man. So.
There we go. It works.
Yeah. You guys are rich?
Just waking up early and just doing stuff, man. Doing baby stuff.
I hear that, man.
Yeah. Oh, blessings to the daddies with the babies. Woo!
Being a full-time parent.
Yeah, I've actually finished. Although I am looking after the baby, I have finished Final Fantasy 7, and
Oh, did you?
That game is deep, man. It's deep.
Is it good?
It's deep.
Is that on the list? By the way, I didn't have enough chance.
It's not on the list, but
I need to say something.
No,
it is on the list.
It's not. But we can talk.
Oh, I want to say something on it real quick. They have the nerve. They're talking about releasing it in like small chunks and like multiple discs. Tatsuya Nomura, are you mad? We got 5 to 8 copies of a small sized game. Big chunks, 3 discs.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? I'm telling you. If they release more than 3, I'm not buying them unless they do the box set afterwards, which we know they're gonna do, and then I'm gonna wait for that to go down.
To defend him though, I think they're doing it because I don't think they want to rush it, and it's a big game as well. Like what they did with Remake, they've kind of took that the small portion of the Midgar episode or bits, and they've made that into pretty much a full game, like a 60 hour game. So. And there's a lot more to go. So, I mean, I'm alright for them to kind of give us the next bit. Don't wait too long. Like 6 months is cool.
They were saying that if they do it in smaller chunks, then it would be less game, is what I'm saying. So I'm not on that. If they do it where it's like 50, 60 hours and it's actual real gameplay, then cool, maybe, but I'm not on OBS. We have to see.
My friend was saying the same thing as Kieran. He was like, I don't want 5 to 8 discs. I want 3 discs. Okay.
They're trying to play us. They can do it in free. I know they can do it in free. But anyway,
as long as it's good gameplay, enjoy yourselves.
Yeah. Well, I definitely enjoyed myself.
Saying I played Final Fantasy 7 before. I know how it ends. Don't try to blame me.
Oh mate, just play the game and just play the game because it's.
No, I'm about 2 hours in, by the way. I forgot to say. So thank you for the hookup on that website.
Hooking each other up, man.
Okay.
What we got on the news today? What we got on the news?
So a bit of sad news today, unfortunately. Irrfan Khan has died of cancer at the age of 53. If you guys don't know, Irrfan, he was really young. Yeah, Irrfan was in Slumdog Millionaire, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, the Jungle Book. He was the voice of Baloo, Amazing Spider-Man, and Blue.
How the hell did you pronounce Baloo wrong?
I was like, what is this?
Which one
is
was
this
that?
the Jungle Book I haven't seen?
Say.
Which I adore you. Go ahead.
And he was the adult version of Pi in Life of Pi. Sad news, man. Sad news. So basically, what they're saying in February 2018, Khan was diagnosed with an undisclosed disease, and it was speculated that by many media outlets that he had brain cancer. After much speculation, the actor took to his Twitter account and announced that he would share his story in a week, 10 days, and asked the media and fans not to speculate anything. On 16th of March 2018, Khan announced through a Twitter post that he was suffering from a neuroendocrine tumor, a rare form of cancer that can target various parts of the body, and he travelled to London for treatment. So yeah, it's sad news, man. Sad news.
It is. And we loved him in like Slumdog Millionaire and like especially Life of Pi, like it was banging. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, he had that voice, like that kind of soothing kind of voice where you
yeah,
want to listen to
soothing authoritarian voice.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Oh, blessings to him and his family.
Yeah.
Thank you for the creative work, man. That was
Definitely. Alright.
Go if you have
Life of Pi with the title, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was dope, yo. That was so dope.
It was.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was so sick. That was a
I think
sick. You know when you say something and then it just
hits you. You just remember the film, like the film, yeah. So we're gonna be watching Life of Pi.
Yeah, I'm watching that
just
this
as a
week.
tribute. Yes.
That wasn't it.
That was for you, man.
Is that on Netflix or it's not a Disney film, is it?
Is it Disney? I was about to ask that actually.
I don't think it is. I think it has been on Netflix. I think it has been, but I'm not sure if they still have it. You know what I mean? They might actually put it up because of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or it might be more accessible because of this. So hopefully it is, because then we can watch it.
It's
but
not.
No, it's not Disney.
No,
actually it's Fox 2000. So it might.
Also, it might.
They might put it.
Because remember Disney and Fox.
They might put it on Hulu or something like that.
Yeah.
I think.
Not yet.
So,
Yeah.
Okay. Fucking Hulu.
I feel like if you buy Hulu's Disney, right?
Well, it is now, yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
feel
right.
like if
then.
you
Right.
get
If
you
don't
purchase
get it on the Disney Plus, that's separate. Like, it's a separate.
no, what I was gonna say, if you've purchased Disney Plus, I feel like
You should
by
get
default you should get an account for Hulu. I think that's the best. Because I was scrolling. I've scrolled through Disney Plus a few times. There's nothing on it. Like, let's keep it real.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real. There's nothing on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it is very kiddie stuff that I'm not gonna watch. The only things that I really wanted on there was Boy Meets World, which is there. Smart Guy. I looked for it the other day and it's not. Do you not remember Smart Guy?
Vaguely.
Smart Guy was sick. Oh my days. Smart Guy.
Just Google it.
It was so sick.
1 sec, guys.
And that's not on there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they've got everything else, Cody and Raven and all the crap that
you don't want it.
Smart Guy was on the level of like.
Wait, let me Google this Smart Guy. I need to find out.
It was in the middle of Sister and Moesha. Moesha being at the top. Sister being, Smart Guy was in the middle. That was so sick.
Okay, wait. I need to Google this. Okay, wait. TV show. Oh, this is so cute. Oh yeah, I remember
with
Smart Guy.
TJ Henderson, but it wasn't even about TJ. It was about Marcus and Mo. Trust me, even at this age, you will love Marcus and Mo.
Yeah, it was Sister's brother, but yeah.
I digress.
Yes.
Disney Plus fix up.
Yeah, they really do need to fix up.
Right, I want to stay on point now.
Alright.
No, I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's fact.
So
What's
next up, we've got Marvel Studios developing Ultimatum. So Jeremy Conrad from.
Whoa, wait.
What? So.
No.
You said wait.
What? Don't do that. I thought everybody froze. I was like,
I did say wait, but I was just in shock because I was like, do you mean ultimatum as in ultimatum?
So, Jeremy.
So I was just in shock.
Oh God, you gave me a heart attack.
Jeremy
Go ahead.
Conrad of MCU Cosmic reports story and plot details are scarce regarding the project, but if Marvel Studios does go through with bringing Ultimatum to the MCU, it will more than likely be a straight adaptation. Of the comic. Will not be a straight adaptation of the comic. So, yeah, I mean,
okay.
The thing with
That goes
I think
past.
the thing with
There's no way that they would. Sorry, there was no way they would have the Blob eat the Wasp and then have Hank Pym grow big and then eat the Blob. That's not happening. Not happening, man.
But
we wanted it to. Go ahead.
I forgot what I was going to say now. So Avengers, the first Avengers movie, that was pretty much taken from the Ultimate comics. You got Nick Fury. So they've already taken quite a lot of stuff from the Ultimates comics run anyway. So this isn't really that much of a surprise. But saying that with Ultimatum specifically, that obviously had Spider-Man in it, had X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and the Avengers in it as well. And you had Doctor Doom in there, you had Neymar in there, so everybody, and I think a lot of people didn't really like it to a certain extent. But
I loved it. I don't know what's
wrong
wrong.
I do actually love it as well. So
I loved it.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was mad. It was mad. It was Jeff Loeb.
It was mad. It was so. Do you know why they didn't like it? And Marvel fans, no offense, but like that would happen in DC. Do you get what I mean? What happened in Ultimatum, you would get that in the DC comic, and that's probably why I didn't mind it, because it had that dark tone that DC usually has, whereas Marvel it's like brighter colors, and you don't get like cannibalism like that in
so many
Marvel,
deaths.
but you would
should
get
have it.
so many deaths. You would get that if that was a DC, if that was like DC's Ultimate Crisis instead of Marvel's Ultimatum, you would have got the same thing. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I don't want this until the MCU has progressed to it. Like we've got, because that whole thing, it explains the mutants, it explains the humans that are mutates, as in Captain America and all them, and it's all, you find out why this all happened. And we don't have the
segue yet.
We don't have the X-Men to kind of, because one thing I liked about the Ultimate comics was I was reading Ultimate X-Men, I was reading Fantastic Four, I was reading Spider-Man, and when you're reading the Fantastic Four, you'll hear something or see something in the news about the X-Men. Or I remember I had a Spider-Man comic, and it was a whole issue about just them on lunch, just like Peter Parker, Mary Jane, Gwen, Liz, Flash, all of them on lunch, and then it had something about mutants on the news, and then Liz got all funny because she didn't like mutants, and everyone's like, "What's her problem?" Everyone's like, "Do you think she's a mutant?" Do you get what I mean? But that. You get that stuff, and there was another issue of a comic where they were talking about, so when in Ultimates, where Captain America was found, you can see in the X-Men and the Spider-Man comics that it's on the news because it's a big deal. I like how in Ultimate comics it was all intertwined like that, but you don't get that in Marvel. Sorry, in the main Marvel universe. Getting to my point, without all of that in the MCU, we need the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, for me personally, for Ultimatum to work.
I think that's the thing that they're probably going to do, as in, like, I think they're going to pretty much do that kind of storyline to kind of explain how the mutants are here. I think that's probably...
Yeah, that would be the only, like, plausible one that you could do, because bringing in the X-Men is an event. You know what I mean? Like, it's a whole event, whereas... Fantastic Four it's kind of been potted around, but it's the easiest kind of, they've all got different powers.
I can see them
you know what I mean?
Like you've got Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming out. There's talk about Red Hulk and Thunderbolt Ross being the Red Hulk and things like that. So you can kind of see them kind of seeding all of that from when Captain America came came out.
Yeah.
So it's possible to actually bring them together and be like, yo, this is the mutants now. We've already kind of told their story. This is going back to the first Captain America. This is how they've been created, and now we've got them. So
I just feel like I don't want that to be how the X-Men are introduced, because then there's no history. No, it's just that there's no, because basically what it is, and spoilers if you've not read Ultimatum or Ultimate Comics, but basically mutants were manufactured, then they were just a way of trying to start the super soldier. Was it the super soldier?
So
the super soldier serum. But mutants had been around for a while to get people to hate them, if that makes sense. And if that's not in the MCU, but they go straight into these are mutants and this is how they got here, it kind of takes away from that.
I was actually going to put it on the script, but I can't even remember what happened in last season. But like when you watch programs like Shield and Cloak and Dagger, it kind of you don't really have to have mutants being like in a film, because this stuff happens that people don't really know anyway. It's not necessary for them to actually talk about mutants in the films that's been happening. Alright, fair enough, maybe someone could have helped them with the Thanos thing, but you know, I think there's easy ways to explain away that the mutants have been around, but they haven't been at the forefront.
I agree with that. I was just gonna say, I feel like friends and are making too big a deal on how the X-Men need to be introduced, and it's just why can't they just have been there? And people didn't know, people didn't realize until, for whatever reason, they were exposed. That's all you need to do. Especially you've got the most powerful telepath on the planet with an enhancing. He can actually use that to tap into people's minds around the world. You're telling me that he can't just mind wipe?
Which he's been doing.
It doesn't. I mean, hey, yo, go back and watch/listen to our issue of Surviving Professor X. But he can do that. It doesn't need to be a big deal. I haven't had a conversation with someone outside of my core group or you guys about X-Men joining the MCU. It's just been people on Instagram or just on things where there's, or even just watching things like Nerdist or some of those other YouTube channels where like, oh, how are they going to do it? They should do it. I'm like, it doesn't need to be a big deal. You're making it a big deal.
It really doesn't.
But anyway,
it's Ultimatum.
Would be sick.
So Sean's
I love shit.
He's saying maybe go the X-Men Evolution route.
No, I don't want children.
No. I need an elaboration on that. In what way?
How?
Oh no! If you watched that, did you guys watch X-Men Evolution?
I didn't really like it.
You didn't like it, did you? It was.
I watched a little bit of it and then I stopped.
It was really good, and what I liked, the way they did it. Okay, this would be perfect for the MCU. Actually, shout out to, I don't know if that was Brother Sean or Frank Sean, but shout out to both of you.
John.
But basically, in X-Men Evolution, the mutants are just having their own little thing amongst themselves. You got Xavier doing his thing with the X-Men. They had Magneto and the Brotherhood. They would meet up and they would fight for whatever reason, and then they were going to a high school. They're all school as well.
Sorry,
they don't need to do it like that. But then something.
But say that a little bit again. Yeah.
What, did I break up?
Oh.
I heard you, but you're gone. Good. They were going to the same school.
They were going to the same high school. I'm not saying they don't need to do it like that, but there was this one episode where I think the government got involved, and obviously the government isn't gonna say anything. Nick Fury in the MCU could already know about mutants. Oh, that doesn't need to be explained. He doesn't need to tell everybody everything. Anyway, so there was a government, and he created a Sentinel, and then the Sentinel was let loose to take out the mutants, and then it was broadcast on the news. And that's how they got exposed in X-Men Evolution.
Okay, that worked.
But they were going through like a good couple seasons doing what they were doing without anybody knowing. It's that simple. It's so simple. It doesn't need to be a big deal. I've said it before. It just needs to be an event that exposes them. It doesn't need to be Cosmic Cube. Now we have mutants. Or Wanderer's warped reality. Now we have. It doesn't need to be that. It just needs to be something so simple.
Yeah.
I'm glad that works for these companies.
Subtle but effective. Yeah. Yeah.
Next up, we've got Jim Starlin reveals where he thinks character may show up next in the MCU. So Jim Starlin is the guy who gave us Thanos. So apparently he thinks he's going to turn up again. There was a story actually that he showed me where there's word of a young Thanos being in the Eternals movie. So, which would actually make sense because Thanos is actually an Eternal. So
he is an Eternal.
It would be good to see him in that and kind of see it.
That'll be amazing. That'll be mad.
You think they'll get Josh Brolin to do it, or do you think they'll get like a 20-something or a teen Thanos? I think that'd be cool if they did.
Oh, they might because obviously they just like Thanos was still like massive, so they'll probably like just make his face look younger because they've been doing that for loads of people. So it's just like, you know how they did it with like
but not like that.
They just made him look younger. It's just like okay, no, obviously not.
No, I don't know. I think it would be kind of cool. I feel like it would be kind of cool to see like a really tall Thanos, tall as he was, but just kind of like smaller.
A little bit.
No, smaller, just to show that he's not there yet.
Yeah.
He's a Titan, but he's just not the Mad Titan. Yeah, and and then you just show him doing his
Planet Crunch list.
Yeah. Let me get that moon.
10 wheels on the sun.
I really like the idea of that though.
Yeah, that'd be good. And he's like obviously it would be a nice way of like obviously if he comes back or whatever he's doing, or if he does come back properly like after all of this madness, like, and he comes back as the person who's like, you kind of need my help, because that kind of happened in the comics as well, where he was like, all right, cool, I kind of effed up the universe, all right, cool, and everybody's like, I'm not working with him, and it's like, you kind of got because he kind of understands everything and he knows what to do. He's got to be, friend of my enemy is my friend.
Actually.
You know what I mean?
Kind of thing. When heroes,
that would be fucking hilarious.
Sometimes when heroes team up with the villain, I think it can be quite lame, but with the right villain,
yes,
you know what I mean. With the right villain, it's sick. Like,
like have a villain like Dr. Doom to team up. That's
if they had to team up with Magneto when they're in the Savage Land, or do you know what I mean? Sorry, one more. In Dark Knight's Metal, when Batman finally went up against the Batman who lost, but he had to team up with the Joker to beat him. That was sick. And while they're fighting, he's like, "Yeah, don't tell anybody about this."
Yay!
Like I said, it's got to be the right villain, man.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, amazing. Oh, that'd be cool. Okay, what's next?
Cool. Next up, we're going on to comic news. So, as we know, we don't have any comics at the moment, unfortunately.
No.
But Diamonds says 20th of May could be the time for new Marvel Comics, Image Comics, IDW and more. So we do have a potential date now, which is good news. There's also some extra news that I didn't really realise until just before we started. But it appears that DC have, because I think we talked about it on the podcast last week or the week before, about DC having a different distributor than Diamond. Maybe we didn't talk about it.
No, we didn't.
Remember if we did.
I don't think we did.
Maybe not.
No, we didn't. Okay.
So basically, there's some.
That's a game changer.
Politics, some politics going on, where DC went over to another distributor to get some comics out. Not the new comics, but just like some back issues and some Walmart comics and things like that. And they are distributing their comics on Tuesdays. So there's a bit of beef going on between
Damn.
that and some retailers are like they've tried to order stuff, but stuff hasn't been coming through. They haven't got no replies. So there's been
This is comic gang war.
Yeah.
We've got the Crips and the Bloods, the Diamonds and the what's the other distributor?
It was I think it's Luna Comics. Luna.
We got Diamonds and Moons. This is Diamonds and Moons. Yeah, this is the gang signs we got going right now. Okay, yeah.
We got Diamonds.
We got Moons
and Moons. Throw them gang signs. Who you with?
And with Diamond, what you say? Oh my days,
let me
crazy.
see if I can find it. Actually.
That's a bit.
Because it's from
my days. Bleeding Cool.
So this.
Bleeding Cool.
So this is what they say. Today sees the release of the first monthly DC Comics in stores for some time. Those that are allowed to open or who can provide a mail order service, a couple of reprints, a couple of what used to be called Vertigo titles, and a Walmart Batman Giant intended as Jim Lee's put in as a stress test for the system, while also turning New Comics Wednesday into New DC Comics Tuesday. We've been hearing from a number of retailers regarding the current changes. Bleeding Cool originally ran Brian Hibbs' very negative response, as well as others such as Jesse James, who were less hostile. But after that, hostility seems to be the name of the game, at least concerning the messages that Bleeding Cool has received over the past few days. A Canadian retailer who wishes to remain anonymous tells us, so this is what they said: I've spoken to a few other Canadian retailers, and Luna has not gotten back to any of us. When trying to log on their system, just read your account is pending administrative approval. Once approved, you will receive an email to complete the registration. No email has been forthcoming. I signed up back on August 17th. I've also tried calling the number provided. It goes straight to voicemail when no messages has ever been returned. At this point, it seems Diamond will be back in business by the time Luna gets to us. My guess is Canada is just not a priority. Maybe Bleeding Cool can do some research and find out if it's just BC or all of Canada, but it seems to me we've been left out. So yeah.
Wow. They just left you on blue tick, boy. That is not okay.
So
wow, that's an interesting chess move.
I was gonna say, if you go onto the Bleeding Cool site, they've got the whole article there. It was dated from yesterday, April 28th, but they've got loads of messages from retailers all over. Like there's some from Florida, Clearwater in Florida, from LA, Canada, like the one we just read, New York. So it seems like there's a massive problem, big problem. So yeah.
Oh dear. But it's kind of fitting because, firstly, DC are all about nighttime, and the fact that their distributor is now called Luna is hilarious. Secondly, Diamond Comics, obviously, you got the book majority is like Marvel, and Marvel's to do with all sorts of crystals and gems and all them things there. So it kind of works out. And then secondly, it's like, if this is the perfect opportunity to find a new distributor that maybe can provide a little bit something extra.
Yeah.
So if Luna has a couple tricks up their sleeve in terms of like either digital comics or, just they're going to come up with a bad boy like distribution thing. Like this is the time to do it, because Diamond really should have stepped to the plate and been like, okay, cool, we're still going to distribute old school this, that, or whatever anybody's kind of finished on, or digitized everything so that we can keep the market going. But y'all wanted to do some things, and now you lost some DC, which is a big chunk.
That's like DC is one of the big two. There's no big three when it comes to comic books. I would say Image was probably the third one. Image is the third one, definitely. But like, it's Marvel or DC is the question. No one's like, are you Marvel, DC, or Valiant? To lose either one of those two, you've lost a huge customer.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a huge customer.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. Oh dear. Get it together, Diamond. You know,
Yeah, man.
Diamond and Luna, man. Diamond and Luna. Gang side.
I'm gonna leave those distribute. Hey, you know what? Just give me my comics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
that's
get
it.
the
I
comics,
fielded
man.
mad comics, and I'm afraid that when they finally dispatch them, my whole account is going to be wiped out because that's when they charge you. That's when they charge you.
Rich is like, don't even talk to me about this. I'm already pulling triple shifts here in this chair, okay? Oh my comic book cocaine addiction, like.
My comic. I'm missing reading X-Men as well. I haven't got past issues 6 or 7 of X-Men. The last ones didn't get sent to me.
Get it together, people.
X-Men and Fantastic Four. I want to know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You told us. Yeah.
That's just on hiatus. And, well, it's just give me my 4. What's happening with 4?
Yeah.
I saw an article the other day about 4. I was like, I ain't click on that. That's swipe.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
You kind of have to go back and reread a few things just to catch up and figure out what last happened. It's coming like what's it called? Jesus, Doomsday Clock, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't talk to me about that.
Oh my day.
I'm
Just
left
watch
that
some
in the
TV
past.
shows. Watch some TV shows. That's
It
all I'm
is.
saying to you.
I have been catching up on Flash and Black Lightning.
Oh my god.
I'm bored. Not bored, but like
bored. Say bored.
I just need something to watch. I need something to watch. So.
Yeah,
there's a
I
lot
hear you.
of things
Okay.
on the TV, Netflix, which we will get into very soon.
I can't wait. Go ahead.
Before that, we've got Eastman and Laird. Eastman and Lard's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin. So this was actually very interesting. IDW Publishing has shared interior art from the upcoming 5-issue series Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin, which is an adaptation of an unpublished 1987 storyline by original creators Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. So the description reads: in a future New York City far different from the one we know today, a lone surviving turtle goes on a seamlessly hopeless mission to obtain justice for his fallen family and friends. Kinetic layouts from Eastman, atmospheric inks from Andy Kuhn, and a thrilling script full of surprises from long-term TMNT scribe Tom Waltz, all combined to make this one of the most memorable TMNT stories that fans will ever read.
Which
Does it tell you the
well, that's the thing. I checked out the picture, and it doesn't. It just shows a turtle that kind of is in a ninja garment. His band is black, and he's got all the weapons as well. So.
Yes, I'm reading that. I am reading that comic. And you know what? As you were saying it, I was thinking my favorite turtle is Raphael, but I don't want it to be Raphael, and I don't want it to be Leonardo. I want it to be Mikey or Donnie because
they're the
those are the
underdogs.
underdogs. They're the underdogs.
I
Just
think
one of
it would
those
be
two.
Mikey, man. It's so.
It would be sick if Mikey was my first choice. It would be sick.
Mikey, man.
That's right. And the fact that he's got everybody's weapon as well, it's like this is personal. This is personal.
Because he's the one who clowns around. He's the one who eats a lot, and he's like he's the youngest. He's the one who plays. And to have all his brothers wiped out, and for him to be the survivor, that would be sick if it was Michelangelo.
Yes, of course.
Oh, I'm excited, man.
I'm reading that. That sounds good.
I'm mad excited, yo.
Alright, so
don't be obvious and do Leonardo or Raphael, man.
Yeah, no, do Mikey.
It's too easy. It's too easy. Do Mikey.
So this is what Eastman Corot said. This was a few months back. He said, about 10 years ago, I rediscovered a 20-page outline for a TMNT story that Peter and I wrote together back in 1987. The story was set 30 years in the future, which, as written then, was set in 2017. Reading through it again, I drifted back to a very different time in TMNT history. Back then it was all about the comics, mostly just Peter and I writing and drawing the issues. everything the world would soon come to know about these characters that we'd created and called the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's been an incredible 36-year journey, thanks to the brilliant talents of so many that brought new versions of TMNT stories to life, and especially the fans who supported all of them. 9 years ago, I was invited back to the TMNT comic universe via my friends at IDW Publishing. Aside from the original run with my friend and co-creator Peter Laird, working on the IDW TMNT universe has been the best time I've had with the Turtles for a very, very long time. A little over a year ago, as the ongoing series headed towards issue 100, I showed a rough revised and updated version of the story outline, now set in 2040, to Tom Waltz, who equally fell in love with the possibility of it. The Last Ronin is a heartfelt love poem to all the TMNT universes of the past, and offers up an intense look at one possible future, firmly based on the adaptated from the original 31-year-old idea from the original creators. Trust me, Tom, Andy and I have just started on a 200-page journey, and it is going to be one hell of a ride. So yeah.
Oh, that sounds ill.
Last Ronin 105 is announced to debut sometime this summer. So
hello. That's gonna be a good shout.
That is me.
Yeah,
that is me.
Yeah, that sounds like a good. Yeah, that sounds like a good run.
Can we do this, please? Like,
check out the picture. I got this article from Newsarama. So yeah, check out their website, and they've got like a preview of a page, a couple of pages on there, and yeah, it does. It looks dope. It looks sick. So
nice.
Yeah.
Come on, Mikey.
Can we do this, please? Can we? I haven't been excited for a comic book like since probably X-Men.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's gonna be good.
I tried to get out and they keep pulling me back in.
What we got next?
Okay, next up we've got reviews.
Can I just say I'm so glad that each one of us picked something on Netflix, because I was like, I'm watching that, and I'm currently watching that. It was syncopation at its best.
Netflix is killing it then.
Oh, you watched Extraction as well?
Yeah.
Oh man, I haven't watched that yet. But
I won't spoil it.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, it was good, man. It was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Do you would you like to go first, Isha?
Yes, good.
Okay, so I am reviewing Ghost in the Shell SC 2025, something like that. Did I get it right? 35?
New Ghost in the Shell anime on Netflix. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, new 2045. There we go. But yes, the new Ghost in the Shell on Netflix. I'm at like episode 8, so I'm like halfway through. I was gonna binge it, but I was like, no, I need sleep. And I can't keep waking up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wow,
it's not good. So no, that was one time.
One time.
I was like,
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
No, because I was up till like something like 5, 6, just watching stuff, and I was like, I'm tired. Like,
I'm doing that, man. I haven't done that. I don't have enough. I can't do that. I need stuff. So yeah. So I wasn't going to go back onto that timeline. That's not good for the body, okay? Right, okay. Yeah.
So yeah, currently watching it. So basically, Ghost in the Shell, in this series, it's a TV show, it's got 12 episodes. The animation, okay, let me tell you about the story first. Story's good. Basically, a group of people, they're kind of like mercenaries. They work for the American government as well as the Japanese government. They're a ghost organization, so they're not affiliated kind of with anybody at the moment. At the moment it feels like they've got 3 bosses, you know what I mean? Like, there's one person from the States who's trying to use them. There's another person from Japan who's kind of like their proper mentor guy, and then there's another person who's kind of just like pulling strings of everything, kind of thing. So they're kind of being pushed and pulled around at the moment. It's really good. Again, action packed from the get-go. They start shooting up some nomads in the desert. It's good, you know what I mean? The fight scenes in it are brilliant. the animation itself, it's okay. I think it works on some characters than others. Like the main character, the woman who's I call her Ghost anyway, but like they call her Major. That kind of animation or that kind of illustration really works for her aesthetic, and I think it works more for the female aesthetic because it's kind of like a soft, like the first Toy Story.
We was watching that actually.
It's like a
I saw that in Elephant Castle Cinema. That's the way.
Yeah, it is actually. It really is. But it's kind of like that, but like a proper, like a more refined HD version, if that makes any sense. So at first I was like, why does different characters like it doesn't sit properly in some characters and another? But the story is like it's just banging. Like what I won't spoil it, but from what they're doing and what they have to do, they kind of just get moved around like chess pieces, and they have to do missions that they don't want to do and stuff like that. And then obviously there's the introduction of this kind of like big problem, and the big problem is starting to multiply, yada yada yada. But can I just say, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's one scene at the moment that I watched, and it was so cute. Like these elderly people tried to rob a bank. It's just the most adorable thing. Like this, and the man was had like head back problems, and he was trying to get over the counter, and his friend had to give. It was just so cute. It was like I was watching. I was like, this is so weird, but I love it. Like
episodes
they had.
Okay.
It's only 12 episodes. So yeah, but when I tell you that episode was like the cutest episode, and you're just like, yay! And then the little spidery things, the kind of AI droid things that they have. Yeah, little tank things. They're hilarious. Like they're like little. I don't know if they're boys or girls, whatever, but they're like little children on acid with machine guns. They're so hilarious. Like they'll have a like little conversation, and they're like, oh, Major looks so cute in that outfit. I know, I saw her yesterday. Like they're just like I live for them. So no, but it's really good. Like if you get a chance to watch it, the episodes are only like 22 minutes long, so it's not even. It doesn't feel like you're watching like forever. Yeah, kind of thing. So I think that's how they get you like, oh, we got you hooked. But yeah, I like the trajectory it's going and gone.
Is it based off of remember the anime from back in the day, the original anime?
Yeah.
Is it like the same character? Is it the same characters, or is it a new thing? If that makes sense.
I think it's partially based on the new character. I think if it's like the new not new character, but like the original character, but in her early days, because you could just interject this as it's just one of like a mission state, like a mission log. You know what I mean, kind of thing. Like so, this could have been when she was much younger.
Yeah, that's what.
Kind of thing. And even if it is a new version of her, it still kind of fits in.
But it's the same girl.
Yeah, kind of more or less. Yeah, good. They've tweaked her a little bit. I don't know. She looks young, but she sounds very old. Like it's just weird. But like when you watch it, you'll be like, but it kind of fits into any kind of a younger state of the Ghost in the Shell kind of thing. But it's a little bit lighter, but it's still quite violent, which is good. You know me, I like violence and bright colours.
I was going to ask because there has been quite a few different adaptations of Ghost in the Shell. So is this one where you can just come in and just watch it? You don't have to like see the others. Is it kind of like it's not a continuation from an old one, is it?
Yeah, no. You can just kind of watch it and just take it for what it is. Like obviously, because we know the story, it's like, oh, this just must be like a mission log, or you know what I mean. This must be like, you could even say like this might have been a prototype before they actually made the original. You know what I mean? Like you could do anything story, so it doesn't make you question too much of who she is and who they are. Like it doesn't hint to that. Like she isn't like patching into things every 5 minutes. Like who am I? This person's trying to chat to me. You know what I mean? It's just her, some guy with guns. They're doing a madness. Like so, it's actually it's really really good. Yeah, and I think the other Ghost in the Shell series are still on Netflix. So you know what I mean? You can still. I think they should be. Yeah, catch them up and then just compare the two. Like if you want to. But, no, it's really good. It's not bad. So I'll give it like a smooth, like 4 out of 5.
Nice. All right.
Not bad. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Yeah, not bad. Ooh, next.
Who is it? Me?
Yeah.
It is me. Alright, so, right.
Oh my god, I saw the trailer for this. I cannot
I've been hearing
how
about this. I so want to watch it. I actually wanted to kind of catch a couple of episodes today, but I was so busy like doing the script and other things that I couldn't. But I'm definitely watching this, man.
Right.
Yeah, nice joke.
First thing that I will say, if you're a person who takes, I'm not saying I am, I'm just saying if you're a person who takes any mind-altering substances, you will love this show. You will absolutely love the show. So I'm just gonna, off the bat, say that. Now, I watched this show and I saw the trailer. I was like, "What is this? It looks sick." And it was mad trick. I'm like, "You know, I want to watch that." And I watched it, and I didn't know what to expect. So it's about. I'm going to tell you about the first episode. I watched 2 episodes. I'll tell you about the first one. It's about this guy called Clancy, and he does a podcast. He calls it something like a space cast or something like that. And he goes in his computer. He lives in this thing, or maybe it's a spaceship, wherever. I don't know what it is yet. I haven't watched enough of it. And he goes in his computer and it's like he picks a world. He picks a planet. And he picks one, and I didn't get it at first. He picks one where this, the computer says this planet is. He goes to Earth, but there's different variations of Earth, and he picks one where it's being ravaged by a zombie apocalypse. But all right, I'll pick that one, and then he picks an avatar. So he picks an avatar for how he's physically going to be there. He's like, I think I'll go for a strong guy today. So he picks like a muscle version of himself. So then he sticks his head.
Yeah. I saw this in the trailer. I was like, what?
Sticks his head in what looks like a giant vagina.
It's a giant vagina. That's what it looks like.
You see, he literally just, and he's in there.
1 second. Sorry. I think it's frozen. The stream. I'm just trying to check it.
What?
Oh, it's come. You might have to do it again. 1 second.
We just got to the vagina part.
Yeah, sorry.
I love it hasn't frozen. We're just chatting.
Yeah, no, it looked like I could still hear you. So I'm not 100% sure if because I'm recording it as well. So I'm not 100% sure if it's recorded as well.
Okay.
But it looks like the stream went off. So yeah.
Oh, come on, stream. Technical difficulties.
Okay, it is back on now. So.
Okay. Welcome back.
Yeah, sorry, we had technical difficulties. So to start again, I'm watching a show on Netflix called
The Midnight Gospel.
Gospel something.
The Midnight Gospel, right? So what it's about is about this guy named Clancy. He's sort of alien guy, and he does a podcast, and he calls it something like a Starcast, something like that. So he goes to his computer and he's flickering for a planet to go on, and he picks Earth, or I think they're all Earth, but there's alternate versions, and he picks one that's going through a zombie apocalypse. Then he has to pick an avatar, and he picks a muscle-bound avatar. To get his mind into the avatar, he sticks his head in what looks like Isha said, it is what it is, a giant, flat out giant vagina. He literally and he's in there. And then he's transported to this planet. Oh yeah, sorry, he picks a guy that he wants to talk to as well, and he picks a guy called he called him Glasses Guy. So then he crash lands, and he's like, oh no. It was so funny actually, because he lands on this guy from space. He's like, oh no, Glasses Guy, and he's slapping him like, please don't be dead, please don't be dead.
Yeah.
This guy. But luckily the guy survived. And he's like, okay. Oh, my name's not Glasses Guy. My name is, let's say his name was Larry. I'm president of Earth. Yeah. He's the president. You know, he's the president, but I think he's the president of Earth.
Okay.
And
this is already too much.
Clancy, hang on, Clancy asked him, do you mind if I interview you for my podcast? He's like, yeah, sure. And they're just talking, going through. It's so funny. You get through at least the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead in this one episode. You are literally seeing these two fight through a zombie apocalypse. They're fighting through. But the funny thing about it is, they're not acknowledging it. There is no acknowledgement of his zombie puppet. It's so funny. You know what they're talking about on this podcast? Drugs. The effect of drugs. The different drugs they take. The different moves.
I'm watching this tonight. I'm sorry.
But you're like seeing people getting mutilated. And then, you know, like The Walking Dead. Like the end of season 1, they're going through bang, and then they find the location.
Yeah.
They find the location in this cartoon. Then they hold up there for a while. Then they have to leave. Seriously, you'll get through the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead in this 1 20-minute episode.
That is amazing.
But what's brilliant about it is that they're not acknowledging it. Oh, this is good. You have to see it. It's so good. It's so funny. The second episode was it was very similar. He does the same thing and then he lands on the planet and he interviews someone. And this one, they end up in like a meat processing factory. And I'm like, these people getting turned into like packaged meat around them, and there's no acknowledgement of it. I can't wait to finish it. It's too.
What
funny.
episode are you on? How many episodes?
I've only watched the first 2 episodes. I think there's like 10 or 12 or so. There's not that many episodes.
Okay.
But like, I've not seen anything like it before. Like that, it literally blew my mind. I'm like, these guys are going for topics and they're just talking about drugs.
It's made by the same people that made Adventure Time, isn't it?
I've heard that, but I'm not 100% sure. But it does have very similar animation, and I don't know if you've watched Adventure Time, but that gets mad trippy as well. I'm sure people who they're not on weed, they're on like mushrooms or acid or something, or
they're not like ketamine acid. Like.
Yeah, do you know that stuff that I've never had, stuff that proper alters your mind? That's the kind of drugs that you want if you made Adventure Time, because
oh my days,
this show has those elements as well. I will give this show. I've only watched the first 2 episodes, so I'll probably give it like 2.5 to 3 weeks.
Oh, okay, that's good.
But
that's good.
But it's really good. Out of 5, obviously. But my favorite out of the 2 so far is that first episode. Yeah, zombies are cool. We like zombies. But the fact that they're not acknowledging it, I just have me busting up.
No, I have to watch that. I have to watch that tonight.
It's really good. I actually might watch it. That was me.
Alright, so we watched Extraction, Netflix Extraction. This one was with Chris Hemsworth.
So good. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was good. It was great. It was. I didn't actually realize it was based off a comic as well. Yeah.
Oh, no wonder.
The story's slightly different in some ways. But yeah.
I thought it was
that's
a game.
Exactly what
first,
Danielle said. She said it reminds her of a game. It's like playing a game when you watch it. It's just action all the way, and it's good action as well. There's some mad fights in there. Some good. The camera work is bloody good, man. It's sick. It's pretty sick.
My brother said it's like Chris Hemsworth is John Wick.
Pretty much. Pretty much is.
And my boo-boos watched it as well.
Yeah.
She said it was really good. So
yeah, definitely.
You gotta watch it.
Watch
it tonight.
It's a good film, man. It started off basically. It's called Extraction. He's got to go out and extract someone from a country, but you got the boss who's a kingpin drug dealer who's in charge of the government and police and all of that. So it's the guy trying to take the person out. It kind of starts off like you watch it and it starts off and I'm like, oh, that was kind of quick. He got to that person quite quick, but then you realise that was the easy part.
It's not about getting to the person, it's about getting out.
Yeah.
It's about the extraction. It's not called infiltration. It's called
it's proper sick. It's a really good show, man. So I don't really I can't really say too much. It's not something that you can really spoil, but it's one you got. If you like John Wick, you like the action. Definitely.
I do like John Wick.
Definitely catch this.
Yeah. And it's like
the
Russo brothers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh, they're good. I mean,
I was
Captain America, Winter Soldier.
I was thinking because when I watched Extraction, I was like, imagine they did Game of Thrones the last the last 4 seasons. Like, imagine them man stopped at season 6, and they took over from 7, 8, 9, 10. That would have been a work of fucking art.
Better ending than
that would have been I'm sorry, I'm just
you know what you have did. I feel like every time we speak on something that could have been, we've now created an alternate timeline.
Yes, we have.
Where that's happened, and now that's happened, and that episode, those last few seasons of The Walking Dead were sick. John's.
Sorry, I'm sorry. No, the Russo brothers is really good in Extraction, like, and I like the fact that you look at Chris Hemsworth and you're like, I don't see Thor. I just see some guy.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what
that's
I mean?
the thing.
I just see some guy, kind of thing.
That's what I was thinking. Like when it was starting,
it was really good.
That kind of put me off not watching it, but we was just like, we watched Code 8 as well, actually, which was bloody good as well.
Oh, you did like?
Yeah, we watched that. It was good. But yeah, we was just looking for something to watch and saw that. I was kind of like, Chris Hemsworth, he's going to be like Thor, but been hearing good things. So yeah, he's nothing like Thor in this. He's still big. He's still tonk. Yeah. But yeah.
No, he's still like.
Nice to know he's keeping those muscles for himself and not the movie.
Yeah.
I respect that when you do that.
Yeah.
Never forget when I saw years ago the guy who was the original Spider-Man, and he bulked up for Tobey Maguire, and then after that I saw him in something else, and he just had mad pop.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
No, it was good. What was your I know this is not try not to spoil, but what was your favorite scene in it, or did you have a favorite fight scene or something?
I like the scene when it finished with a car and a van. That whole bit,
that secret.
Because I think that was actually a one shot as well. That was a one. It all seemed like one shot kind of thing. They did do some cuts, but it was some good cuts that they seamed in. So, but yeah, that shot was that it stood out to me. That really did stand out to me. So
the fight scene. And I'm a real stickler for this. And the reason I'm a stickler for this, what movie did this to me?
I know what you said.
I can't remember now. It made it a thing. I think it was Daredevil. Was it No. Was it John Wick or Daredevil? One of them started this. Or maybe it was basically, does he punch and then it cuts? Or do you see it all?
Oh, you see it all, honey.
You see it all.
I can't stand cuts. I can't stand that in movies anymore.
That's what I'm saying. One scene, it was all just one cut. It was just like one shot for about 12 minutes or something like that. But it's mad.
Crazy.
It's really good. This weekend. That's this weekend.
But I know the Russo brothers, I've seen their signature thing now. I'm like, they're bridges, stairwells, and the middle of the road. That's them. If you're gonna watch a Russo film, you're gonna see someone fighting on a bridge, some stairs, or in the middle of the road. It's just a thing.
Or falling off a building.
You have to research.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to research these two and find some movies of theirs that are nicely action packed that I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
So if I'm keeping it all the way real, I never heard of them until Winter Soldier.
Yeah, no, they did. I think I don't even think they were doing films. They were doing a TV series. They did a Community.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were doing a community comedy kind of show. I think I never watched it, but I think that's what they were doing before.
I heard it was really. I heard Community is hilarious.
Yeah, I've heard. I think that's on Netflix. That keeps coming up.
Yeah.
I might have to.
I ain't going there.
Childish Gambino's in there.
I'll have to dig in.
He's in there.
He isn't.
Okay.
Speaking of which, bring back Atlanta.
Yeah, for real.
I know, right? What? How many geeks are you giving it? How many geeks are you giving it, Rich?
For what type of film it is, I'll give it 4 geeks.
Yeah.
It's obviously not the greatest film, but for the film it is, for this time, for what you get, it's it's not John Wick, but it's up there. Yeah, John Wick had heart. It kind of had heart, but
is it missing the heart? Okay.
There's a little bit of heart, but no.
I know you mean.
There's no dead puppies in it.
I understand that.
It's a different kind of
heart. It's a different kind of heart.
Just because it doesn't have heart, it doesn't mean it's not good.
There's no dead
just because it doesn't have heart. It's all good. Yo, that's me this weekend, man. It's been on my list since it came out. I keep putting it up, and now everybody I know has watched it.
Yeah, now you gotta watch it.
Just jump on this bandwagon before I miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of missing stuff. So I'm sure all of us had a childhood. Some of us are still living in our childhood, but most of us have that one.
Forever and ever.
In this bit, yeah.
Some of us has that one show or that one cartoon that they remembered or affected them, or that one episode that said, yeah, this is the one. Unfortunately, we don't have one. We have a few each.
No, of course not. We're geeks. What is this?
Even that was hard to narrow down. I was like, I just, it's too much. But yeah, go ahead.
The worst part is when I started talking about some of them to my brothers, because I told them what we were doing. And then they mentioned episodes that I forgot. I'm like, remember when I said I'm sticking to the ones that I've chosen.
Yeah, the ones I can remember.
I was even watching some of the episodes of X-Men today, and like the one I originally put down, I was like, yeah, it's a good one. But then I watched another episode, and I was like, this is hard now, man. So I might have to cheat it a little bit.
Cut the side.
X-Men is the hardest.
Yeah,
it's the hardest to pick a favorite episode in that show. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And the one that I picked, I feel the reason I've picked this one, which I'll go to when you'll go first with yours, but it's because it has heart.
Yeah. I think on the X-Men one, I think we're kind of all, there's something's telling me that we're either in like in sequence with what we've picked, or we're all in unison. Like it's one of the two. It's either one bit after the other.
We have chosen the same kind of animated show as well. We've all got the same on the list. So.
I love it,
guys. We just need to get into our bathing suits and dive in. Let's do this.
Because of the fact that we've got this similar likes, I thought let's do it as in the order of the year it came out, in the sense of the show. So the one that I kind of sneaked in as kind of like a favourite of mine was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This one was the pilot. Yeah. The thing is though, and I've been trying to look for this as well. The pilot that I saw was like the mini movie, and so it was like the 5 episodes, and I can't actually find that anywhere. But I realized when you watch the movie, and you watch the episodes separately, there are bits that have cut out. So I've been trying to, there's some bits that have cut out. I'm sure there was that bit with Shredder when he's surrounding Splinter, and there's a bit that I can't remember exactly what bit it was, but there was a bit that they cut out. So I thought I need to put that on there because I remember having this movie and I remember constantly watching it all the time, every single day.
Yeah.
So,
that's on a VHS somewhere deep in Amazon or eBay. Like,
I remember. Now I've got the first 2 seasons of Turtles box set. Yeah. Like it's still like a regular sized DVD disc, but because there's not that many episodes. But when I used to go to my cousin's house, when I used to stay at my uncle's, my younger cousin had the VHS. Yeah. Every time I went over there, I'd watch that VHS, that little mini movie. Like,
sick.
Yeah. Those were probably that was a really good cartoon, but those were probably the best episodes, like the introduction to after that it gets a bit clowny. You get what I mean? Yeah. Which is a shame. I mean, it's not a shame because it was a damn good cartoon. Nice choice.
Okay, so second one, BeetleJuice, 1989.
BeetleJuice. Oh my god. The cartoon, of course.
Oh my days. I didn't know we were doing it like that. Oh my days. Okay. You went deep down the back. You went in hard.
No, that's what I said. It was so hard for me because I was like, oh my god, there's Bucky, I was like, no, okay, just segue. You should calm.
I'm sorry. I feel like, sorry, I'm getting excited. I'm gonna let you do what you're doing, but we need to do a sequel episode to this because I didn't know we were going like that. So you don't know, yo. Oh, watch cartoons, yeah.
Oh my god. So the episode I chose for BeetleJuice is when my girl she was like, she was asking BeetleJuice like, who are your parents, because they were cussing each other's parents, and your parents are so boring, and she was like, your parents must have liked jokes because they made you. Like, I was just like, I forgot how many like inside digs there were in this show. I was like,
that's a funny.
No wonder I have so much suck. Yeah. So like she takes BeetleJuice to see his parents, and his parents are completely opposite from him. You know what BeetleJuice is like? He's nasty. This is that. His mum is a clean freak.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The house is spotless and all that stuff. And then his dad like is a hard worker. Like I think he's a grafter or some stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's just her getting to know BeetleJuice a little bit more. But like I like the episode because it's just like a nice like weird opposite of BeetleJuice kind of thing. And like I love BeetleJuice. I fucking love the show. That Addams Family, like, okay, I won't even go into
that was
more.
a sick cartoon. Don't even. I'm telling you,
there's too much. It's too much.
We could start a separate podcast.
I know, right?
Just to do this.
Just to do this. But yeah, so that was my favorite episode of BeetleJuice.
Yeah.
Obviously, there were tons more, but like I like that one, and I like the fact that the whole animated show, like even though it was funny and rude, like there were some elements that are a little bit scary. I was like, I don't like
cartoons back then were real.
I
feel like cartoons back then made us a strong generation, whereas cartoons now are making kids soft.
They made us think. They really made you think back in the day, and I was like, even though some of the stuff went over my head because it was kind of like adult, like in terms of like thought process. When I'm watching it now, I can appreciate it more because I'm just like, that is hilarious. Thank you. You know what I mean? So it's nice, man. Yeah, but that's my BeetleJuice one. That's my BeetleJuice.
Next one.
Come on, Kieran. What you got?
Right.
What's the next one? Sorry. Go on, Rich. Sorry, Rich.
1992 is actually Kieran anyway. 1992, Batman the Animated Series.
Right. I've got two favorites of this, so bear with me. I'll try to be as quick as I can. The first one is from season 1. I watched it today, just to recap. I didn't watch the second one, I'm going to say, but this first one is called what's it called? I've forgotten. So it's like it's called POV. It's called POV, Point of View. And basically what it is that you got, and I think this is the episode that introduced Renee Montoya. So you had Renee Montoya, she's got a rookie cop with her, and she's heading to meet Bullock because they were supposed to be doing a sting operation. Excuse me. But Bullock went in without them, and then the criminals they find Bullock, and he's all like, so then like, they're breaking out that way. Go get the rookie goes after the two criminals going that way. Montoya goes in the building. Criminals get away. So then they're like being these three are being investigated by the guy called them commissioner. So I don't think Commissioner Gordon was commissioner in season 1, but anyway, they're being interrogated by the commissioner, and they've all got a different account on what happened.
One of those ones.
when they see Batman, when they see Batman, so you see like Harvey Bullock's was funny because he's like, these guys were late, so I went in without them. They're like, we weren't late. So he's like, I went in without them because they were late, and I don't know what happened, but something must have startled him. What startled him was the fact that he slipped on the can and tripped over. The criminals, by the way. So now they're aware of him, and they're about to like kill him away. But then Batman shows up, and he's like, basically Bullock trips over, alerts the criminals, sets the building on fire somehow.
Wow.
The Batman had to come and save him. The criminals get away. So then Batman had to save Bullock. So then Bullock's like, Batman almost ruined the entire investigation. He's lucky I was there to save his lousy I don't liar. That was funny. And then he gets out. So then it goes to the rookie story. The rookie story is like, I saw Batman too. After I was told to go this way, I caught the villains and the guys in the alley. But then Batman showed up out of nowhere. He just lands. He looks taller than he is. I wrote notes to say what the rookie guy said. Hang on a sec. So when he's describing Batman, now we all know Batman is human. Yeah, it's a man in the costume. So he says when he saw Batman, he opened his hands, and sparks flew out. What he did, he's like, the car's coming towards him, so he threw those spikes that pop tires.
Yeah.
Threw those. Batman threw those, but the rookie thought he was throwing like sparks out of his hands.
Hilarious.
So then that happened. Then he said, Batman open. Next thing you know, Batman opens up his fingers, and some sort of ray comes out. And you know he's got that electrified grappling ray. He shoots that into the car and drags the door off. And the last thing the rookie said was, then he pointed at the crook, and the crook fell down. So you see Batman. So to this guy just looked like Batman pointed at the guy, and he fell down. What it was is, it was a batarang. Well done, it was a batarang. And it was just so funny. Each of their, I forgot Montoya's. I'm gonna be honest with you. Man. I fell asleep on the last bit.
It's fine.
I forgot what Montoya's bit was, but each of them have such a different account on what their version of Batman was like. So funny. That is like a classic. And man, I have to say that cartoon is art. It is so. Yeah. There's a bit where the criminals are coming out of the building, and the music that goes with it, with just them coming out of the building, was brilliant. It had such a good score to it. The voice acting was dope. And I loved when Montoya was driving the car. You see in the movie in America, police officers might be in a police car, and they've got shotgun holstered in the car. You ever seen that in a movie before?
Yeah.
He had the shotgun there, and I'm thinking, you wouldn't see that in the car.
Never see that now.
Shotgun live sitting there. Then they come out with the shotgun. But anyway, that was the second episode I watched. The second episode, which was my favorite, is one called Almost Got Him.
Ooh.
This one is an episode. Catwoman's got missing.
Oh no.
And what it is that the criminals, Batman's rogues, have her hostage to lure Batman, but they're all having a conversation. So we've got Joker, we've got Killer Croc, we've got Two-Face, and I forget who else. But they all have an account of who came closest. Who came closest to killing Batman. And then in each, Riddlers were there, so it's got little segments of what happens when they almost got Batman, when they almost got him. And it's funny, throughout the whole episode, Killer Croc is like, nah, that's nothing. I'm the best. I got the best story.
I think I remember this
when it comes to Killer Croc. Yeah, when it comes to Killer Croc's story, it doesn't even have a flashback. He's like, right, fine, Croc, what's your story? I hit him with a rock. And everyone's like... And then there's the silence. It's like, it's a really big rock. But then,
little Killer Croc.
It was funny. What was dope about that episode, spoilers, is that I forgot how it gets to this bit where it turns out that we all know Batman is like a master. No, he's not just the world's greatest detective, but he's a master of disguise.
Oh yeah.
He dressed himself up as Killer Croc, pulled the stuff off, and then it's just Batman murks all of them and saves Catwoman. That's like got to be one of my favorite episodes of Batman. Even as a little kid, and I hadn't seen Batman in years, from when I was a little kid up into my 20s, I always remembered that line with Killer Croc. Always remembered it because it just sat with me. It was sick. So anyway, that was
sweet.
Me. What's next?
Okay.
What you got, Kira?
Next one is
Rich.
something that we've all put on. It's X-Men animated series.
Yep.
So
hard.
Who would like to go first? Okay.
Go on, Rich. Go on, Rich.
I would be shocked if this wasn't on any of our lists. Like,
okay.
Come on.
So it is hard.
Go on, Rich.
It is hard.
What did you
At first, I had episode 2 of season 2, which was Till Death Do Us, part 2, and that was when Sinister. This was after Sinister got morphed to trick Magneto and Xavier to meet in the Savage Land, and they got ambushed. This one was this one was after the wedding actually, of
Oh yeah.
Cyclops and Jean. No,
Gambit. Oh
yeah,
no,
Cyclops.
After their fake wedding, Morph
married them.
Yeah, that's it.
On their way to the honeymoon, and I forgot his name. One of the nasty boys. He was like, "Ahoy there! I've got a message for you."
Oh yeah.
Oh, the one who goes.
Who screams.
He screams.
Yeah, he screams.
Cyclops looks at Jean and is like,
I can't remember his name. Yeah.
Okay, what is it? It's like,
yeah, that's it.
And I just like all of that with the fighting. It's just the quotes that they have in this episode as well. And then so like this episode was one of my favorites, but then this episode was like the second episode of season 2. But then you go to the end of the season, and it's kind of like it's happening again in a way, because this is after. Because in season 2 is the whole madness. The whole season is it cuts between Magneto and Xavier going through the Savage Land, like going through some madness while there's other stories happening. And by the end of it, all the X-Men realize what's happening. They find Xavier, and there's the last episode of season 2. I can't remember the name of it now. And what's it called? It's called Reunion Part 2, and basically they've all the X-Men found out that Xavier is in the Savage Land. They're all in the jet, and they're flying over. They're flying over, and it's all cloudy, and they're like, Wolverine's like, so we're basically walking into a trap. And it's like, we've gone into a trap. And it's like, good, let's do this. And then the music is just, and then it flies down. And I remember it saying when I was a kid, it was to be continued. And then like that was like the most effed up cliffhanger ever, man.
I remember when you brought that over to our house. When you brought that episode over, it was the worst. It was the greatest thing because obviously it raised me. But when you used to bring those over, I had to wait a whole week.
Yeah.
See the next episode. Oh man.
And then they land, and they've all lost their powers. And I always remember this bit and this is why I hate. One of the reasons why I hate the movies as well, because one of the guys from the Savage Land. They came to the X-Men and they was fighting them, and Storm says to him, I don't need the elements to fight with a toad like you, and she just mashes him up. And that kind of when in the movie when she says, what happens to it? What happens to it? Yeah, it kind of. Oh, that line. Yeah, it was like. They tried to.
That's why I hate the movie so bad.
You know what? I remember being in the cinema, seeing them. I remember how I was when that scene came on. I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, what's she going to say?
Everything else.
Like, I thought it was going to be like a dope line, because I'm all about dialogue and I love great one-liners. So I thought I was going to be like, oh my God, what's she going to say? Everything else.
That's the thing. Like even with the animated series, Storm always had something to say, and she always had some knowledge to put down. You know, so that's what you was expecting, but that didn't happen.
Like Storm and the X-Men after girls was like you got Jean, you got Storm, you got Rogue, Jubilee, Kitty. Storm always seemed like big sis.
Yeah. She was big auntie.
Yeah, or auntie. She was the big one. Do you know what I mean?
Rogue was sis. Jean was like, you know, the auntie that you sometimes invite to the barbecue, but sometimes she's bare moany, but you love her anyway. You know. And then Kitty's like the small kids that are running around. She's bare cool. You know what I mean? Because she'll be like, oh, look, Uncle's doing that weird drinking thing in the corner. Like she's. You know, I
felt like Storm was always that one. Yeah. It's a shame that they messed up.
Those two are my favorites, but then I kept on watching it, and I got onto the Phoenix Saga. There's that one episode when they're trying to kidnap Lalandra, and Juggernaut says something to Lalandra.
Oh, when they go to Muir
when
they go to Scotland, or was it Muir, when they meet?
Muir Island,
that episode was stop.
Yeah.
So there's that
my
episode.
days.
Yeah.
That's when they introduced
Juggernaut. What's his name?
That guy's brother, that guy's stepbrother, and you got
Eric the Red.
Eric the Red. That's it.
Gladiator.
Eric the Red. That guy with the beard.
Yeah.
Gladiator. That's the
Gladiator
one.
comes down.
That was a great episode.
Gladiator comes down, and it's,
the way he comes
you
down.
just see the hands.
I remember watching that as a kid. I was like, Superman. Yeah, Superman. I was like, what's happening here?
And then Juggernaut's like, why don't you just go back to where you came from, or something like that. And he tries to punch him, and he just doesn't move, and he just picks him up and just dashes him. And Jubilee's like, what the? I've never seen anyone do that to Juggernaut. And Gambit's just like, no one from Earth. Yeah, it's sick.
There's too many episodes in X-Men.
Yeah,
way too many.
Go on.
Way too many.
What's you guys?
Kieran, me?
Go.
Okay. There's Ben. Okay, so I love the beginning one because it was the beginning one where Rogue, Gambit, and Storm are in the mall.
Yeah.
And obviously Jubilee's like her story of like, running away, and the Sentinel, just the
Night
sound
of
of the Sentinel, just like
yeah,
like it just
Night of the
makes
Sentinels.
yeah, and she's running through the thing, and then so that's when you first get to actually see them, and then Rogue's like, what the hell is going on? And then Storm's like, and then she just transforms. I'm like, I love who this person is, like, because obviously I had the original VHS of like the first ever pilot movie, like episode of
the Kitty Pryde
of
one.
X-Men. The Kitty Pryde one, that one was hard when they had like guys like
I've not seen that episode. I've got the X-Men box set. It's not even on there.
It's like
it's
before,
a different.
Like, if you get a chance to watch it,
different creators.
It's like. Yeah, they switched it up. They were good, but it was just like it was good. But so I like the beginning, like the first episode. But then I like obviously my favorite is Rogue. Rogue, when she's having to fight.
That was sick.
Because I was trying to take over. Like that one was hard. And there's an episode.
MCU fans, you think you like Captain Marvel because of it? Like you don't even know about she was Miss Marvel, and Rogue basically raped her mind.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
And she was a badass as well. She wasn't even like, no, I'm Ms. Marvel. With everybody up. Like she was like, I'm not even here to be chatting to you lot. You know what I mean? Like the part where she ripped the plane open and then closed it. I was like, what's happening? What's happening? Like, as a child, I'm like, who's this person? Like, you know what I mean? And then there was obviously anything with Apocalypse.
Yeah, the Days of Future Past.
Just my heart. Like, like
that episode where. Sorry, go on.
No.
Just that episode where Bishop. No, Bishop's already in the past.
Yeah.
Stop the whatever, but then Cable comes. But that's the thing. Messed up. So he's trying to stop Cable, and what I love about that two-part is that the X-Men actually die in that episode. They did. I'm like, whoa, come on.
So that was the thing with that. What made this so sick was the Days of Future Past was in season 1. And then the continuation was in season 2, and that was like midway through season 2, and it was Time Fugitives. And then Cable, and you're like, I've seen this before. I've seen this episode before, but it's different.
Everything's so familiar.
It was mad. Like stuff like that, and then like I remember one episode of like X-Men. But it was just a funny bit where the guy who screams. They were trying to break into somewhere, and he was holding Wolverine, and obviously he's screaming, but he's flying. Everybody else is flying, and Wolverine's like, "They're gonna know we're coming!" Like he just drops this line. I was just like, jokes. Like
he had one-liners in that show. Actually.
Yeah, the one-liners they're hilarious. But things with more Sinister, like you said, Rich, they're just great. Like
I think it was in the latter part of it. Well, I think it was like in the latter part of season 2, which is the same with the Nasty Boys, and there's a part where they go and pick up like they're looking for Morph, and he's in like this what's it called, Jekyll and Hyde play thing, and then
Oh
and
yeah.
then Cyclops and they're there with him, and he's saying, "Yo, Morph, we know it's you." And he's like, "Shh, he can hear us." And then the guy, the like plasticine guy, he takes Wolverine, and there's that fight with Wolverine, Cyclops, and the Nasty Boys, and then they've kind of got Cyclops all held up. His hands are tied or whatever, and then Jean's like. Wolverine's getting beaten up, and she's like, Wolverine, and then she turns to Scott, she's like, Scott, and she uses her mind to open up his glasses, and he's like, and then you see one of the Nasty Boys, he's like, oh? It's just that little bit of animation of him realizing that, those little bits is what makes it really special to me, man. I love seeing that little expressions.
Oh, and one more thing, sorry. This is one I really liked because none of the X-Men could really stop this mutant. I can't remember what it's called, but he was like this big. He kind of looked like the Thing, but he was like
McTaggart's son. I watched that one recently.
Proteus,
and he could just like alter everything. Yeah. And Wolverine tried to jump on him one time, and he just dismantled his body but put him back together. Yeah. I loved that episode.
What was brilliant about that episode was Wolverine, because it shook him. It genuinely shook him. Yeah, he didn't want to fight anymore. It broke him.
He did a Hulk after Thanos.
That man had been through so much. We all know Wolverine. He's gone through so much. He's been through souls. He's had X amount of girlfriends murdered. Yeah, he's been so much, and it took for this one guy to mess with his head a little bit to make him scared. That was a brilliant episode, man. It was. And this is, you know what? Sorry, real quick. I was on Disney Plus today, and I was showing my son like these episodes, like not episodes, but like these cartoons. And I was saying to him, like, these modern ones, they're crap. They're not like the ones we grew up on. And he's like, I said, I don't mean to sound like an old guy. He's like, yeah, Dad. I was like, kind. Look at this Spider-Man. Look at this modern day Spider-Man. I've watched this cartoon. They focus too much on just throwing Spider-Man at Spider people at you. And some of the episodes, they don't even have shadows. Look at this whole cartoon. They go, do you know what I mean? These modern Marvel cartoons,
they're not up to par.
Man, come on, man. You just need to watch to see.
Yeah. What's your favourite episode? What's your favourite?
Right, so
I feel like we're just talking about.
I know, right?
No. So let's try and be okay. My favorite one is One Man's Worth, when Fitzroy and that little green guy, is that their names? Basically, where Bishop and his sister have to go back in time to save Charles Xavier, and in the beginning of that episode, Storm and Wolverine are having a picnic, and time literally changes around them. Next thing you know, they're in a war, and Magneto is leading them. There's no Charles Xavier. He's leading these people, and they love him. He's so revered. They're like, he's the, what did they call him? The leader or something like that?
Yeah, the leader.
Yeah. And one of my favorite bits in that episode, I'll get to why I like this episode, but one of my favorite bits, because I didn't realize this until I got older, is there's a scene where Beast is like, oh no, here come the mutates. And the mutates, I don't know if you know this, Isha, but in Marvel, you've got the mutants who are like, but then people like Captain America, Spider-Man, and
they were mutates.
They're mutates. So they come in, and you've got Scarlet Witch, not Scarlet Witch, you've got Scarlet Spider, Giant Man, you've got Wasp, and you've got, I'm missing someone important, Captain America.
Okay.
But they look different. So you have to, I remember watching it recently and I paused it and I was like, that's, he's there. Yeah. It's so sick. But the point of this episode is that you got Bishop and his sister, they recruit Storm. They recruit Storm and Wolverine, who are a couple in this universe, and they look dope. Storm's got the mohawk. And
Storm's evolution is just go ahead.
And like this episode has everything in it. It's like there's
Nimrod was sick.
Nimrod's in it, and there's a bit where they go to a bar. They go to a bar just to kind of talk so that they can understand what's going on. But because Shard and Storm are black, there's like, so he makes a comment about these disgusting people in my bar, and then the waitress sees Logan and Storm holding hands, and he's like, "You're doing what?" He's like, "Oh, you freaks out, mama." That's real shit. That is real shit. But I just love that, you know, by the end of it, when they save Xavier, Storm and Wolverine have to basically, it's like a breakup, but not a breakup.
Yeah, a time up.
It's like a time. It's literally time is up, and it's like Bishop's like, you know, when you take the bands off, you know, you'll just everything will go back to normal. And they're like, how much charges on the bands? He's like, what was it, an hour or something? Most people being selfish, because I feel like I would do this. When I was watching this thinking I would have left it on. Would have just took all the time you could with that person, but what they did, they just held each other. Brilliant episode. Xavier being like young and naive, and he feels like he's the only one. It's like, how did you know I'm a mutant? And he just didn't believe. Not even that, he didn't want the life. He didn't say anything. Ran away when these people kept coming after him. He ran. He didn't want to know. And again, like in the upper episode I mentioned, Xavier dies in the first one. He died.
He's always dying, man.
He's a villain anyway.
That's true. We have to remember we can't really like Professor Xavier, okay?
Let's face it.
We've watched Legion. We know. Okay.
Oh man, but this was just my favorite. It was really, really hard to pick, because when I was telling my brother that I picked this one, he was like, nah, he likes the one where Bishop is out of time and Apocalypse trying to gather all the psychic. That is a brilliant episode. A man's worth. This one had
heart. But the entire X-Men catalogue, season 1, 2, phenomenal. It's just phenomenal. Like it's just great. Like
what's next?
What's next? Sorry, let's move on. Watch him like now. It's Spider-Man time.
I thought you paused and finished. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
we should actually probably do.
Someone put gargoyles on here. Are you lot? What?
I had to go there. I had to go there.
No, I can't talk about gargoyles, man.
Go on, Rick. Go.
I think monsters on it. I'm just looking at the list now.
Gargoyles was yours, Isha. Yeah.
Oh, it was mine. Okay, so all right.
It dropped.
When did it drop?
94.
Damn. Wow. Okay, so.
Sorry, I have to say, Gargoyles was so good that mum used to sit with us and watch this.
Yeah,
I
was saying to Rich, even though people watched it, it was a really underrated animated TV show. Like it was leaps and bounds like ahead, and the animation itself was smooth. Like it's the smoothest like I've ever seen. Okay, so Gargoyles. I was trying to think. I had to like go and have a look at some of the episodes, but I was like, I really like the first episode. Just as
titled like a movie, because someone I knew. Remember Dave? I don't even want to say his name. He's not getting play on my podcast. There was a kid on our block, and he had it as like the first few episodes as a movie. I remember I watched that all the time as well. That was sick.
Yeah. So like the first episode it flipped from present to past. So like you had like the old school people having a war, and I think they were trying to destroy the gargoyles and stuff. And obviously like the gargoyles come to life at night time, so the sun was setting, and in New York it's nighttime, and at the top of this massive building, all this rubble starts to come down on like the New York streets and whatever, and there's the introduction of this woman. I think she's a police officer, and she's like, oh, what makes these marks on the top of a boulder? Like, what's big enough to make a, you know what I mean, like a mark on the boulder and stuff like that. And I can't remember what else happened, but I liked the first episode because it's just like a nice introduction of how they came from. I remember
what happened. I'll take over. I know what happened.
Go.
I'm telling you, I'm not disrespecting you in the sense that you didn't like that show, but I don't think anybody, I challenge anyone.
I love that show.
Maybe my younger brother, maybe my younger brother, he knows that show, but no one is as big a fan of Gargoyles. I've still got toys. I'll go grab them.
I used to have the toys of Gargoyles. I loved them. But yeah, go on. Tell them what happens after the storm. Yes, what happened?
Wait, where did you leave off? Sorry.
So the rubble's all down on the street, and the woman's like, what's big enough to make that giant like?
You need some Mars on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So big like scratch mark on the big boulder and thing. So and then I can't remember what else it cuts to, but I remember obviously seeing the gargoyle. But yeah, God, just tell everybody what happens because I can't remember.
Real quick, you know what I like about it is that the main human character. This show was quite progressive. The main human character was not only female.
Yeah.
She was mixed race, but she was black because I think her mum was Afro-Latina. No, her mum was African. I forget where in Africa, so I'm not trying to be. And I forgot her dad was Native American.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that was. Come on, like how many characters are Native American in any show?
Yeah. And female.
Female. At least Samaza was dope, man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
she was kind of hot for a cat.
As far as where cartoons go.
Yeah.
Hey, Goliath saw it.
Oh, I'm gonna love that. Do you remember that? Okay, hit everybody with the names of the gargoyles. Okay, just hit everybody with the names. Okay, come on.
We have Goliath,
leader of the gargoyles.
Leader of the gargoyles. Second in command was Brooklyn. Then we had Broadway, who was the muscle. He's the one who ate. Then we had Lexington, who was like the smart guy. I remember when he first sees the helicopter and they're like, what is that? Some sort of monster? He's like, no, it's a machine. I was like, Lex, man, come on. Then we've got Hudson, who's like the old timer. He's the one who was probably
like the librarian, kind of thing.
He was like, I think he was leader before Goliath took over. Then we had one of the best ones of all, Bronx. Guard dog. And like when they got to New York, when they wake up in New York, they all pick names of like New York areas, which was dope. And then Demona, who's Goliath's crazy ex-wife, who's so insane. Her story where she makes the pact with Macbeth to have immortality. She turns human during the day.
Mad.
Macbeth feels her pain, and you're hearing me say Macbeth. Yes, it's that Macbeth. By the way.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Macbeth. And then she and Goliath had a daughter that they didn't know about, Angela. Angela was a sick character.
Mad.
Brooklyn and Broadway liked her, and you think that she's gonna go for Brooklyn, but she goes for Broadway. That show had everything. Sorry, I forgot what you said, but it doesn't even matter. Like,
it's okay. Yeah, that was my favorite episode. Was the first episode because there was
she goes up the stairs, and then she sees what's going on, and then I can't remember now. I'm so excited.
I can't remember what exactly happened, but it's just.
But gargoyles show up, and she makes friends.
I can't remember.
She goes up there.
I can't remember any of them.
I need to rewatch it. I don't even know who made them. Like, I'm just like, someone just pick it up.
Oh, I know it was Greg Berlanti. You know who does Young Justice?
Oh, is it?
That was him. So that's the other thing. When I found out that the guy who did Gargoyles was doing Young Justice when Young Justice first came out,
made sense.
I was hooked on Young Justice.
Yeah, that's nice, man.
Young Justice from then. So it was Greg Berlanti.
But it is on YouTube.
Sorry, Greg Berlanti is I got the name wrong. Greg Berlanti is the guy who does The Flash.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna do a quick Google because that's gonna bug me.
Okay. I don't know DC. I'm just agreeing, but there are some episodes on YouTube.
Greg Wiseman.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so it's still a Greg. It's still a Greg.
What are you telling them about YouTube for? Well, she's dope. She means well. But if you want to watch Gargoyles, it is now on Disney Plus.
Oh, is it on Disney? Okay,
it's
that's
on Disney Plus, and it's on my list.
Okay, that's fine. Go to Disney. That's fine. All the episodes will be on there. It's okay. Don't worry about you.
Sorry, it's not Greg Berlanti. It's Greg Wiseman. I'm sorry. When I found out that Greg Wiseman was doing
Young Justice,
blah 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 blah.
Okay, cool. But yes, that was the first episode. Was my favorite because it's the introduction, and it was just I was hooked from that. Like, it was amazing. So I really like that. So what we got next?
Meeting Xanatos. Wasn't Xanatos a great villain?
Yes.
But what I like about him is that he was complex. He wasn't just a bad guy. He was almost as good as Lex Luthor, if not possibly better. Then, because he was like.
I need to watch that series again. Damn, I've got too many things to watch now.
David Xanatos was the man. He was sick. He was a sick villain.
Aficionado. Is that what you call him? Aficionado.
We need to get him a t-shirt again.
We got Oberon and his wife Titania from mid. The thing is, one thing my brother put it to me like this, but I didn't even realize it. Gargoyles takes from all kinds of lore. You know what I mean? Because you've got not just lore, but stories as well. You've got Macbeth. You've got Oberon and Titania from Midsummer Night's Dream, which is both
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, which is like Shakespeare. Then we've got Odin. We've got Odin from Norse mythology. Because you know, Life had the Eye of Odin. Then he was like, oh, well, this is all kinds of mythology in this show. It's
alright, guys.
Can you imagine the amount of research they would have had to do to make that show? It's crazy. Nobody's working that hard in cartoons, man. For cartoons,
really not.
For kids.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you lot back in the day, boy.
Because of all the tech that they have, apparently kids nowadays have a short attention span. They couldn't watch Gargoyle.
Nah.
Today, man.
Nah. Oh man. Okay, what we got next? We could talk about gargoyles all day.
We're on the hour and 38 mark now.
Okay, should we do part 2?
We should sequel this episode, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got some good ones.
Do that.
Also, we're going to talk about. I was just going to say we're going to talk about the episodes that we were supposed to, but we're going to digress.
This was it's turning out to be a bigger episode than we anticipated. We just love this shit.
Yeah. We do, man.
Tell you guys, if you want to listen to a show with purists who genuinely have love for this stuff, you need to hoist yourself up and just kick up the source, man.
Yeah, that's
It's okay. So we've got a bit of obviously it's a bit of a spoiler, but if you see our messages on Facebook or Twitter, you well, actually no. Sorry, I'm tired right now. I'm trying to remember what I did earlier. I can't remember if I've actually put what we are gonna watch on there, but I was gonna say if you see what we've put on, tell us what you like, what episodes you guys enjoy, and we can get into it.
Join the party, man.
Yeah. We could even mention some of the ones that you said. So
I know. There's loads of Rocco's Modern Life. There's loads. The
first few seasons of Rugrats. I feel like Rugrats.
Now we're just adding more on now. See?
Okay. Let's end it because us three, as tired as Rich is. I know that you say the right TV show, my man is lit, and he's like, maybe we can fit it in, you know. So let's just end it here. We're gonna catch up with y'all next week. We're gonna put some content up on the lines, on the Facebooks, the socials. You can join us, you know what I mean? Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, iTunes, Twitch, YouTube. We're there, okay? Streaming live from Twitch. And as you know, Rich says, if you want to get some merch, you know, a little jumper, a handkerchief, a little cup, you know, it's the Source Wall at Teesprings, you know, .com, TEE, not tea, not the ones you drink. Okay, this ain't get out, but like, you know, get you 20% off.
The Source 20.
The Source 20. Put it in, get some teas, you know what I mean. And as Kieran always says, issue 85.
I'm for an issue. This is serious.
Yes.
Don't forget to bring a sandwich.
Peace, guys.